Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saramiyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, actions, emotions and thoughts. Those are the three things which we know. Animals know only actions and emotions. We also know thought. So, all day we go on doing different types of action. Na? This thing, that thing. Verbs, you know, standing, sitting, laughing, eating, talking, walking, joking, sleeping, listening. All are actions only. Then, we have so many different types of emotions. And among all the different emotions, the most prevalent emotion, or the emotion which gets the most attention, is this emotion called love. Called an emotion. And then finally, I mean, that's among all the different emotions. So all day we are going on and experiencing all different emotions also. Sometimes love, sometimes hate also. Isn't it? Anger, jealousy, pride, all sorts of things. Emotions all day. Right? And then there is thought, rationality, logic, analyzing. We do a lot of analyzing. You don't know that you're doing it sometimes, but you're analyzing all the time. Like for example, when we're coming here, Balaji said 1 hour. Ramanji said, yeah, 1 hour. So in just even to make that statement, there is an analysis going on in the mind, or there is a rational thought going on in the mind. But today is Friday, traffic is heavy. Tomorrow, no problem, 40 minutes. Because in the mind, they think that today is Friday, traffic will be heavier. Tomorrow is Saturday, traffic will be less. Therefore, if 1, 2, 3 are true, therefore the conclusion follows that 4th will be there. So that is a logical series of thoughts. Right? If today is Friday, then also if on Fridays people do more shopping, if on Fridays people are getting everything done, if Friday is a business day, like when all these things are true, that means Friday will have more traffic. If on Saturday all schools are out, nobody going to office, nobody going to hospital, doctors, whatever, on Saturday, if such and such is true, that means traffic will be less. Then other thing also, we are taking our past experience into account. That on Fridays, traffic is always more than Saturday. We put all those things together, then he makes a statement. Today it will take 1 hour, tomorrow it will take 40 minutes. Like that. Analysis, we do all the time. Analysis and calculation and planning and syllogistic thinking. That kind of means logical flow of thoughts. One premise is true, second premise is true, therefore the conclusion is like this. You see? All the time we are doing. You see, right now I am talking also. You will be, now in your mind you will be analyzing. Are you telling truth or not? And then you look up like that. That thing doesn't sound logical, you know. You will say in your mind, oh, it sounds logical. So that analysis is going on behind him. That has nothing to do with emotion. See, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. That has nothing to do with emotion. That is an intellectual operation. You can't say, when teacher says, 2 plus 2, you say, sir, I feel it is 4. You can't say, I feel. Isn't it? Either you know or you don't know how to perform that operation. 2 plus 2 is because one boy will say 2 plus 2 is 22. That means he's guessing. He doesn't really know. So we have to either we know or we don't know really. So all intellectual things then all emotions are there, then all actions are there. The wonderful thing about human being is, because we have an intellect, we can also rationalize and think about emotions. But is this emotion proper? Is it right? Should I have this emotion or should I not have this emotion? Now, an animal, he cannot think. He only has that emotion. See, your dog loves you unconditionally, you know. When you have a dog, he loves you unconditionally. He doesn't love you for any reason or anything. We love for reason. But a dog doesn't love for any reason. He just loves you. Isn't it? See, in the morning time when you are going to work, if you beat that dog, you give him two, three, you know. 2, 3 beating. When you come back in the evening, he'll wag his tail and he'll receive you. In the evening time. Right? He'll be wagging tail. He forgives you immediately also. He still loves you. You try that with your spouse, then you will see. While going to work in morning, you give 2, 3. When you come back in evening, house locked. You'll be locked. Out. That dog knows emotion very nicely. Human beings, this dog cannot start thinking now. No. I have loved this master for such a long time, you know. But he has not given me any respect. He still calls me dog. He should call me by my name. Should not call. See, he cannot think like that. He only knows emotion and he knows how to love you, and that is all. He can. My master got a new car and he doesn't take me in that new car. He still, anytime he has to take me out, he drives that old car. So he's jealous of that new car. Dog doesn't know. He knows only how to love you. But human beings now can think, I have this emotion in my heart, I have that emotion in my heart. Now each emotion we can take. Is it proper? Should it be there? Should it not be there? Or some emotion which is not there, should I have it? Also. You know? Like in this country, so Indian people who come to live in this country, there's a different culture altogether. Right? So one man, see, this is a very nice story. I asked him also, can I tell this story in satsang? He said, yeah, no problem, you tell. So I'm telling. He is Indian. So he came here and got married to American. Right? Now see, they're two different cultures altogether. Not this one is right or this one is right, but just two different cultures, right? So then, he got married to this American woman. Then, one day he took her there, that beauty salon, you know. Beauty salon, so she went to do her hair and this and that. So, after 2 hours, he went to pick her up. So she came and sat in the car. So he just drove off. So she's telling him now, "Arey, look here. In American culture, you're supposed to at least look at my hair and say, you know, yes, you know that thing. Say, darling, your hair looks nice. Yeah? This is American, now Indian culture, I know something, right? You know that thing. So, he said, oh, sorry, I did not know. Darling, your hair looks beautiful. So after 2-3 months passed, again he took her to that place. And again, he came back after 1 hour, 2 hours and picked her up and everything, right? And then she sat in the car. So he remembered. So because there is no emotion there, right? So he has to remember that emotion. So he has to evoke that emotion in his heart. Even if he doesn't feel the emotion, he has to say those words. So he picked her up and she came, she opened the door and sat in the car. He said, darling, your hair looks beautiful. She said, oh, I did not come here to do my hair, I'm doing my nails. So, sometimes that culture, community, society also, they demand from us some kind of emotion. You should, have some emotion. Oh, it looks good. Or it doesn't look good. Or whatever. The society itself, sometimes they want us to, like for example here in the society, when people give you something, you're supposed to say thanks. That's an emotion of gratitude, isn't it? So in Indian culture, when somebody gives something, nobody says thanks or anything. Thank you, this, that. You just give. Finish. So now, we are supposed to think. I am telling all of this because the point I want to make is, we can rationalize about emotions also. Emotions are not, human emotion should not be like the dog emotion. He really cannot rationalize. He cannot think about that emotion. He just is naturally born with it, and he will die with that same emotion, whichever type of emotion is there. And that will be evoked by, not by rationality. His emotion will be evoked not by rationality. His emotion will be evoked by instinct. But a human being doesn't act merely on instinct, That's why we have a higher faculty. That thing is called as irrational faculty, the intellect. So we have to think also about emotion. So this Narada Bhakti Sutra which we are studying really is a study about emotions. It's an intellectual study about emotion. And in particular, the most important emotion for a human being which will take him to God realization, that emotion is called the emotion of love. Right? So right now you will see, remember when they classify human beings in biology, we are also an animal, right? You know that. Biologically, we are also an animal. So there's an animal side of us. So the animal side is where we really do not think about our emotions. Therefore, one of the problems with human being is, he has his love invested in all sorts of worldly things. He has his love, some part of his love invested here, some part of his love invested there. You know that. So some people love money. Some people don't. It's okay, love money, no problem. They doesn't have so much love for money. Here some people love power, name, fame, position, all sorts of praises and all that stuff. He loves that more than money even. So he wants to go and become big politician, so the whole country will know him like that. His power. Then there are people who love nice clothes, and there are people who love nice music. And so some people, especially in certain stages of our life, you'll see the teenagers and all, how they play that music so loudly over there. They love music. After some time, that love goes away. So our love is invested in so many various type of things, Some people love shoes. I read one time some president of Philippines, his wife had I don't know how many 100 pairs of shoes. Now every wife is not like that. There are some people there 2 pairs is enough. But she loved shoes. So how many different things a person can love? So he can invest his love here, invest his love there, invest like that. So Bhagavan is telling in Bhakti Shastras that we have to really invest our love in the absolute reality. Invest our love in God. Invest our love in the supreme being of this universe. When we invest our love there, the returns are much. But when you invest in some stock, you want to invest some stock with good returns now. You have some stock, you bought some stocks there, $20 a share. Last 20 years, still $20. Why you buy that stock then? Some good returns should be there. Dividends should be there. So, we invest our love in God. Why? Because really, forget about all spirituality and all things, from a very ordinary standpoint. We are all looking for some sort of peace and happiness and joy. And some people think we'll get it from money. Some think we'll get it from shoes. Some think we'll get it from clothes. Some will get it from power. But really, these are all short-lived. Like the lady who had so many 100 pairs of shoes. Pretty soon, her husband got banished from there. Then what happened to all the shoes? The media came there to take picture. Everything is short-lived in this world. Power. How long a person will be governor or representative or president? How long? And not only that, when he loses power, is big misery. All the places where we have really invested our love, all of those things are short-lived. So he's saying invest the love in the absolute reality, in God. And so, when we discover that absolute reality, true love, when we discover that reality, our joy and happiness will be eternal. This is what we are looking for really. Nobody wants happiness or joy only for a day. I told you that. We want eternal happiness, eternal joy. See, we are looking permanent job. Nobody goes and say, I'm looking for a temporary job. I'm looking for a permanent job. Temporarily I'm going to get married. There is such thing in society. I'll marry for 1 year. We are actually looking for, we say in English or language, I'm going to settle down. Isn't it? I'm going to settle down. It means a permanent arrangement. We like permanent things actually. So anyway, when it comes to happiness, we want eternal happiness, permanent happiness and joy. One moment of sorrow also we don't like. So this Narada Bhakti Sutra is really telling a number of things. One is, what is this absolute love? Second thing, what are the traits and characteristics and qualities of a person who has this absolute love? Then, what are the practices of this absolute love? How do we reach there? Like that. And rationally it is giving everything. Not just, emotionally. Because if listen here, nobody likes emotional people. When we are overly emotional, nobody wants to stay near us. Because that emotion is such, that person's emotion can change anytime. An overly emotional person becomes erratic and unpredictable. So we don't like that. We don't like emotionalism and all sorts. We like a person who, not that we should not have emotions, we have it, but that person's, because he's a human being, his intellectual faculty should master his emotions, because he has a higher faculty, you see. So that Narada Bhakti Sutra is telling about all of these things. Right? So today we'll just resume where we left off last night. I will just chant from Sutra number 7, which is on page 14. Sutra number 7 on page 14. We completed that already, but it is one train of thought, so we'll see from there. Sa na kamayamana nirodha rupatvat. Then next one also we continue. Nirodhastu loka veda vyapar nyasaha tasmin ananyata tadvirodhishu udasinata cha. Okay, so I think this is where we would have reached. So Bhagavan Narada or Narada Muni introduces this topic called as renunciation here, which is an integral part of Bhakti Marg also. A bhakta, a devotee of God, cannot be attached to anything in this world except God. Now, there is one qualification for all that. You have to qualify that statement. And that is, if the devotee is able to see all things as God, then he can be attached to all things. But how do you know whether you're seeing all things as God? If you are attached only to some things and not other things, that means to say you are not seeing that God is all things. Really speaking, Tulsidas has written very nicely. I'll tell you that. He says, you can also repeat Shri Ram Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sab guys. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Siya Ram main sab jag jaani. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Karau pranam jo jug pani. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram. Siya Ram main sab jag jaani. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Karau pranam jo jug pani. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. See, Tulsidas ji writes in this verse, Siya Ram Mai Sab Jag Jani. Maya in Sanskrit is called Pratyaya. Siya Ram Maya. Like for example, I'll tell you the meaning of Maya. Maya means Laddu is sugar Maya. Sugar Maya. Sugar Maya means that thing is made up of sugar. All of our sweets, the mithai, they are sugar Maya. Means made up of sugar. So this Jagat, Tulsidas says, Siya Ram Maya. This Jagat Siya Ram Maya. It means made up of Ram. Which Ram? Siya Ram. This Jagat is made up of Ram only. So, if the person sees that and then he loves everything in the Jagat, then we know he is a true Bhakta. If he only loves part of this Jagat, he is no Bhakta. Second thing is, he really has no detachment. He is attached. That type of love is attachment. You understand what I'm saying? So how do you know real love from unreal love? He loves everybody equally, all things equally. His heart goes out to all things and all people. If he only loves certain part of his Jagat, that is called attachment. That is the difference. So here, the only way we can come to that state where we love all things and all beings equally is through the part of renunciation. Even in this Bhakti Marg, renunciation is required. It means to say, the attachment that I have to a certain part of the Jagat, I have to start giving up that attachment. And that can happen when we understand what Tulsidas ji say, but this whole Jagat is Ram. Why you only love one part? Well, our Bhagavan Shri Krishna writes also in Bhagavad Gita, Bhunam Janmanamante Jnanaman Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvam. Everything is Vasudeva. Samahatma Sudurlabha. All this is Vasudeva. Every day you are singing Vasudeva, 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 right? Vasudeva Govinda Hare Pahima. We sing Vasudeva. But see, Bhagavan telling everything is Vasudeva. But I don't like this one and I don't like that one and I only like. Just now you were singing Vasudeva. And you don't, and it's worse than that. You were listening to somebody sing Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And you don't like the person who is singing also. It's an amazing thing how this mind works. That's because we are attached to certain things. So renunciation is the topic which is introduced there. You have to go on renouncing all our attachments to all worldly things. And yesterday I also told that this type of attachment which we are talking about, we have to give it up mentally. Attachment is a mental thing really. Attachment really is not a physical thing. It's a mental thing. And I gave you that example also. So, how that those two monks, one monk told the other one, I put down that girl way over there, you are still carrying her. Mental. So, detachment, that is introduced. Now, when you ask what is detachment, then in the next, that is number 8, he says, Nirodhastu lokaveda vyapara nyasaha. That giving up all of this habit which we have with regard to all worldly things. Useless worldly things are really not going to bring any benefit to me. So I give up that. Then, with regard to spiritual things, give up the habit, religious things. Give up the habit of using religious things for worldly gain. But too many religious things are used for worldly gain. And I gave simple example yesterday of there's no need to go and pray to Bhagwan for any worldly gain. Bhagwan has already given us body, mind, intellect. If we work well, we'll get a lot of worldly gain. So many countless people have done it. They're atheists also and they work hard and they achieve. There's no need. So stop using spiritual things for worldly gain. Then Tasminan yata tat virodhishu udasinata. Then single pointed devotion to the Lord. Single pointed devotion to the Lord. Now that ananyata is where we left it last night, and I told you we'll see that when we start today. Ananyata. Ananyata is described in the next sutra very nicely. It's the one favorite sutra of mine. See what is ananyata? See number 10. Anyashrayanam Tyagaha Ananyata is being described. Ananyata means Anyashrayanam Tyagaha. This is the definition of Ananyata. So this is a Sanskrit word. Let me tell you a little bit about these words. Anya in Sanskrit means other. Anya. Anya nari, anya naraha, like that. Other man, other woman, like that. Other. Ananya, and this morning also I was doing a little lesson on Sanskrit, Upasarga, because somebody asked a question. Hitaji asked a question. So, in Sanskrit there is something called Upasarga. When you put it in front of the word, some Upasargas, they reverse the meaning of that word. Like Mala. Mala means dirt, impurity. Vimala means, when you put V in front, it becomes opposite. Free from dirt or impurity. No dirt, no impurity. Vimala, like that. So here, Anya means other. When you put An in front of that Anya, it becomes Ananya. No other. No other? That has no meaning. What is no other? The idea is, this Ananyata was Bhagavan uses in Gita also very nicely. It means, right now, we see everybody in this world as other than me. This thing is other than me. You are other than me. Everybody is other than me. They are not me. I am me only. He is other than me. So I see otherness. All our lives, our vision is about otherness actually. This one is other than me, that is other than me. And not only that, sometimes we see this group, we are Indians, but they are other than Indian. Other group. We are Hindus, they are other than. All that type of anyata, otherness. Bhagavan said, a true devotee is one really who has no otherness. Ananya. There is no such thing as they and us. And because of this problem in the world, everybody killing each other. They and us. But Bhakti is teaching what? We should have ananyata. Ananyashchintayanto mam ye jana paripasate isham tyabhyuktana yoga kshemam mam yaham, says in Gita. Very nicely said. This is a very famous verse of the 9th chapter. They also, Bhagavan say, those who worship me with Ananya Bhav. Ananya Bhav meaning to say, they don't see me as different from them. They don't see anybody as different from anybody else. We pay more attention to the differences and distinctions and demarcations than we pay to the commonalities that all human beings have. We have to change that bad habit and start paying attention to all the common things. And do you know, if you start doing that, we will realize that really in this world, all of us are one only. We are made from the same air, same space, air, fire, water, earth, in different combinations, isn't it? We eat the same food, breathe the same air, get the same energy from the sun. Everybody is made from the same thing. But we are very good at seeing the differences, very good at seeing all distinctions only. This is a very, very bad disease of human beings. I tell you, our eyes are so badly trained. See this clothing? Look how nice Balaji has ironed and everything. Right? If only one black spot is there, you will forget all the hard work of Balaji. You will only see that black spot, correct or not? Huh? Our vision is so distorted, I tell you. Quickly we only see negative things, see the untrue thing, the asat. We never see the sat, we never see the positive, we never see, all the other things. Good thing. That's why I see the whole society is like that. You see your big international newscasters and all of the news stations and all. What they report? Only good things. They only report on bad thing because they know what sells. People don't want to look at good thing, people only want to look at bad thing. If they only say, in Red Roof Inn, Narada Bhakti Sutra, big news flash. Narada Bhakti Sutra is being given there. Right? It is an esoteric spiritual experience you will have. This news flash. Who will look at that news? If on the other side of the highway there, a big crash is there, 5 young college students who are about to graduate, they die. It's a terrible news. Everybody wants to hear that only. Isn't it? I don't know how this human being, his psychology is so wired up that he only, and they will not sell because positive news will not sell. Only negative news sells. So they report only because the psychology of the human being is so wired up. It's a black spot he'll see, and everybody's eyes will be trained right there only. So we have to start rewiring our psychology. Each person needs to do that for himself. Rewire the psychology in the head. That the way we see the world right now is with Anyata Bhav. He's different from me, he's different from me, they're different from me. And not only that, we take second step, third step, fourth step after that also. What? They're different from me. They eat pasta. So first different, then we add to the different. He eats pasta. Then he speaks with a strange accent. Then on such and such days, he eats this type of food and that type of food, and such days, he has this type of celebration, and weird. And we add things like, he's weird. We go on adding. And first we say different. Then to that we add this and add that and add so many things. And not only that, we add all sorts of past things also. That person may not have any of that. He's German. I think he was related to Hitler. How many did we add? None of it will be in that man. This human psyche is like that. So we have to rewire the psyche, No. Rewire to start seeing, this man is made up of same food which we ate, same sunlight he got the energy from, same water he drank, same space, air, fire, water, earth, everything made up his body, and he has emotions just like me, he has likes and dislikes just like me, he has ambitions and goals and all such things just like me, he has wants and needs just like me. How similar he is amazing. In fact, when this rewiring of the intellect starts taking place, or the psyche starts taking place, that will end eventually in seeing Ananya Bhav. But really he is me. We are one and same. It is amazing, and that is actually more approximating the truth than feeling that he is different from me. We are all so intimately connected. It is supremely amazing. So intimately connected, all beings and things in this world. And you will see so many poets, not only Indian poets, Western poets also, they are written. The whole universe is in a grain of sand. One grain of sand. The whole universe is there. And that one grain of sand is connected to every other grain of sand in the whole universe. So we are connected to all things also. So this Ananyata means learning to see that nothing in this world is distinct and separate and unconnected from me, unconnected to me. All things are connected. So now in Bhakti Marg, it's just that a language is used like that. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. That all this is Vasudeva. All this means what? I am included in that. All this is Vasudeva. And this is all rational, logical thing. You see, this thing I told you now the first day, Vasudeva is existence, pure existence. So this exists or not? So this is made up of molecules. The molecules exist? Yes. The molecules are made up of atoms. The atoms exist? Yes. The atoms are made up of electrons, protons, neutrons. They exist? Yes. Between the electron and the nucleus, there is a big space as vast as intergalactic space between electrons and the outer shells and the nucleus. That space between the electron and the nucleus, that space exists or not? So where is existence absent? Existence is not absent anywhere. I exist or not? Yes. You exist? See, all things exist. In fact, really speaking, there is nothing in this universe besides existence. You cannot point to anything in this universe besides existence. We say there is something called non-existence. Non-existence also exists in our head as a concept. Correct or not? When I say, like for example, do you see the horns on my head? You say no, those horns are non-existent. Right? But those horns have to first exist inside my head before I can talk about it or not. First I have to conceptualize it and then vocalize it. Isn't it? So the horns have to first exist as a concept in my head. So those horns exist as concept. Like some things in your mind only exist as memory. Like your grandfather, he's not there anymore, but he exists as a memory. So existence has different degrees, conceptual, real, all that kind of thing. Existence has different degrees also. So yes, the horns on my head exist as a concept. Then only I spoke about it. So only existence. That is all that there is in this universe. From that level, we are all actually one only, made up of existence only. That is called Ananyata. There is no other, there is only me. Because I am existence, you are existence, the space is existence, everything is existence. Ananyata. So now it says, to reach that state of ananyata, a hint is given in that sutra. What is that? Anyashrayanam tyagaha. This is that's why I told you this is a favorite sutra of mine, because the human being is a human being that is very, very, very frail human being. What is meant by that? What is meant is the human being is always leaning on something. Only a frail person leans on something. Now you have to start searching in your own life, and nobody will know. I will not know what you are leaning on. Your neighbor will not know. Only you will know what you are leaning on. But when you say leaning, I will tell you now. Here, Narada is saying that we should give up this habit of leaning on things. Don't take ashraya of anything in this world except God. And do you know, you don't have to lean on God at all, because God is already carrying you. Why do you have to lean? If one old man is riding through the desert on a camel, desert is dry, no water to drink, poor animal has to walk in that hot sun. He's riding on a camel, going through the desert, and he has a suitcase on his head. He's sitting on the camel's back, and he has a suitcase on his head. So somebody standing on the side of the street said, "Hey, what is the matter with you? Why don't you put the suitcase also on the camel's back? Why are you keeping the suitcase on your head?" He said, No, the poor animal is already carrying my weight. Why would I want to give him more weight? Now look here. That animal in any case is already carrying that suitcase, isn't it? Because the suitcase is on his head. So we usually have misunderstanding. No, Bhagavan is some other place. Look here, we are being carried by the Lord himself. We are being supported and carried and kept alive and everything by Bhagavan only. So we don't have to ask for anything from Bhagavan, isn't it? Already he is doing. What are you asking for? But our problem is now, we forget that. We forget that Bhagavan is already carrying all of us. And now, we go on leaning on things of the world, looking for support, looking for some psychological solace, looking for some prop, looking all this type of, that is called ashraya. If this thing is not there in my life will not feel complete, my life will not feel comfortable. I am leaning on that thing to feel comfortable. So we go on leaning on things, countless things, that is called ashraya. So Narada is telling, we should not have any ashraya. There is no need for any ashraya, because Bhagavan is already propped us, he is already supporting us, he is already carrying us. Why are we leaning on so many things in this world? That is the idea. And please search in your own life now and you will see. If you start searching, like right now, right? We say this hall is silent. If you start listening, you will hear so many songs. The moment we start listening well, we hear so many songs that we had never heard before. We didn't think that they were there. In the very same way, when we start searching our life, we will come to discover that we lean on so many things in this world. People say, but Swamiji, you don't lean because you may be strong, but we are not strong, we have to lean. So that is what we are telling. We are telling that the more you stop leaning, the stronger you will become. By leaning more, you don't become stronger. And you know the Upanishad says, Na ayam atma balahinena labhyaha. A weak person could never realize God. A weak person will never realize God. That is, the gopis are so strong so as to disregard, see Mira, disregard whatever anybody is telling. लोग कहे मेरा भाई दीवानी, सास कहे कोला नासी रे. The whole world says Mira gone crazy. She's gone crazy. And the family says she'll destroy our whole kula, whole family. But we see, we lean on those things. We lean on what people will say about me. So we depend on their good word. They should say something good. That means I'm leaning on that or not? Depending means leaning. So the gopis are strong. Mira strong to resist all what people are saying. I am only concerned about my Bhagavan Shri Krishna. I'm concerned about my Lord Krishna. I'm not leaning on anything in this world. I don't care what this one says, what that one says, and all. That is called strength. And you know, okay, in any relationship also, if this Durgun called leaning, if that Durgun goes away, that relationship will become much better. Because tell me something, logically thinking, what is better? You have two strong individuals in a relationship, or you have two weak individuals in a relationship? What is better? Two weak individuals, when they lean like on each other like this, right? They are leaning together. The nature of the world is someday one will go. Correct or not? Then when one goes, what happens to the other one? Collapse. Isn't it? Now if you have two strong individuals, not leaning, if in case there is any emergency, any problem in one of their life, they always have a strong person to lean on. And if the other one goes, I am strong. But when you're two are weak and leaning on each other, that is prescription for disaster eventually. It may last for a little while and seem to be working, but a prescription for disaster. And therefore I meet so many people, when one spouse goes, devastation. Because two weak people leaning on each other. So when that one spouse goes, the other one within short time also, and then the other one also gets so bitter with God, and so many things happen. Why God to come? I was doing Bhagavad Gita lecture at one place in Noida. I was posted in Noida, just outside New Delhi. So at the end of my lecture, one Amma came, crying long tears. Maharaj, Bhagavan took my husband. What right he has to take my husband? I said, Amma, this is not right, question of rights and this and that, The nature of the world is, we all came into this world and one day we'll have to go on. No, but why he did that to me? She's very bitter with God. Right? So I said, I tried to bring solace to her, console her and this and that. You just repeat God's name. Don't be bitter with God. You don't want remembering Him and all that sort of thing. After some time, you will be okay. Then I asked, I said, Amma, when did he pass away? She said, 12 years ago. I was totally blown away. 12 years. I'm still bitter with God. That is because of leaning. Because please remember, आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. You heard? You came alone. So from that thing you understand, I have to be strong. Anyashrayanam tyagam. Not leaning on anything or anybody in this world. Bhagavan is already carrying me. And nobody has to carry me. And how you came? By your grace or what? You're so gracious. So powerful. You came here by His grace. You're living by His grace. And you will leave also by His grace. He's carrying this entire universe. And I told you this morning, it is an infinite Lord who can carry anything which you cannot even dream of. This whole countless Brahmanda only on one of his eyebrow, as it were. As though. An infinite Lord. He is carrying every single thing in this universe. And so therefore, having no dependence and no leaning on anything in this world, but just, like bungee jump, when a person bungee jump, what happens? He falls free. That time only one savior at string, isn't it? So here you fall free in the lap of God. Psychologically, mentally. Already you are in the lap of God, but you just have to fall free. And anyashraya, all this dependence on, I'm leaning on this, leaning on that, dependent on this, dependent on that, if this is not there. And it's just little thing, if I don't get my cup of coffee in the morning. So I'm so dependent on a little bit, coffee is okay. What about the person who is dependent on a cigarette? See, who has power? He has power, cigarette has power. The cigarette is there on that table, lying there. One little cigarette, this much only. He's lying there. And cigarette says, take me. This man, no. That cigarette, I told you, take me. Then in the end, who wins? Because he is leaning on that. If I don't get it, my life will turn topsy-turvy. If I don't get that cigarette. Leaning. So we have this habit of leaning. Lean. Dependent. That's called slavishness. We become slaves to whatever we are leaning on. So now, no. Tyaga. Tyaga means drop this. I am fine. Like that you have to say. If I don't get my coffee, I'm okay. If no coffee is there, let me tell you something. People can do it, 15 hours flight from here to New Delhi. And in plane, no smoking. So you can do it for 15 hours in one stretch, isn't it? It is possible. We do it all the time. When we are traveling and all, there's so many things we do without. But as soon as we come back in the house, we go back to leaning. We can do it actually. We can give up anything and not lean on anything in this world. Because we are already being taken care of by Bhagavan himself. So, this renunciation, ananyata means that I have no ashraya, no leaning on anything in this world except Bhagavan. And by that, we'll come to realize our oneness with Bhagavan. We'll come to realize our oneness with the Lord. We'll come to realize our oneness with all things. So, I go on remembering Bhagavan is already supporting me. He's there in every part of my being, supporting me already. Like the clay is supporting the pot. The clay is there in every part of the pot, supporting the pot. Bhagavan is there in every part of me, supporting me. And he's taking good care of me. By that remembrance, I develop ananyata. I develop an understanding of oneness with God and oneness with all things in the world. That is what is being taught. Then, just now, Bhagavan had said about Loka and Veda. Loka and Veda, these two words he had used. And if you see the translation in those two words, right, it says, renunciation is giving up of all secular and religious activities. The translation. That is in Sutra number 9. Sutra number 8. It says renunciation of all, giving is in total giving up of all secular and religious activity. That thing can be misconstrued, It can be misunderstood. So Narada makes a nice clarification. Now in number 11, see this. Loka Vedeshu Tad Anukula Charanam Loka Vedeshu Tad Anukula Charanam Tadvirodhishu Udasinata. Okay, now he says Lokavedeshu Tad Anukula Charanam, that we are supposed to perform all secular and religious functions that are anukula. Anukula means favorable. Favorable. So in other words, a bhakta, devotee of God, is supposed to do all of those things that are favorable to God, whether it is my secular duties or religious duties. All of us have duties in this world based on our station and our guna karma. Actually, Bhagavan gives in Gita. Station in life and guna karma means our varana and station, ashrama. Varana, ashrama, dharma. So, based on that varna, ashrama, dharma, we are supposed to, we are given certain duties. So, we have to fulfill those duties. And we are supposed to do those things which are only favorable to God. This is two ideas which are given in Shastra. The second one is the more prominent one. What? Do those things which Lord wants us to do. Those things which He doesn't want us to do. That Virodhishu Udasinata. Udasinata means leave them alone. Stay away from those things which are prohibited by Shastras and do those things which are prescribed by Shastras. That is the idea. So Shastras prescribe certain things, so we do. Shastras prohibit certain things, so we leave that. Otherwise, the previous sutra would have made this thing a little bit unclear. So now, he builds on that also. See next sutra, that is number 12. Bhavatu Nishchaya Dadhyadurdhvam Bhavatu Nishchaya Dadhyadurdhvam Shastra Rakshanam. Not only that, once we have become a devotee, once I have become a devotee, then Nishchaya Darkhya Durdhvam. Once I have firmly determined that I am going to follow this path of bhakti, I have to not only practice the Shastra, but I have to protect Shastra also. Shastra Rakshanam. So the way for us to protect Shastra is really to practice it. That is the best way. And Shastra said, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says a very nice thing. He says there, Ya Shastra Vidhi Mutsrijya Vartate Kamakarna. If a person casts out the Shastras from his life and Vartate Kamakarna, he just lives according to his own desires and whims and fancies, and I like this, I don't like that, and I want this, I want that. He lives like that. He doesn't follow Shastra and all. He says, Nasa Siddhima Vapnoti, Na Sukham Na Param Gati. That person will achieve nothing in life. Because even though he may become materially well off, his life will still be miserable. See, having all material possessions and prosperity, that doesn't guarantee any joy and peace and happiness, isn't it? No? That guarantees anything. I know many people who have all material things, but peace of mind is not there, happiness is not there, joy is not there. Miserable life. So, what we have to do? Follow the Shastras also along with all what we are doing. So a bhakta, true bhakta, has to follow Shastra. That is the way to protect Shastras. We have to make the Shastra part of our life. Tasmat Shastra Pramanante Karya Vyavastito, he says in another line. That the Shastra should become the guiding principle in our life as to what we should do and what we should not do. The Shastra becomes the guide, not the constitution or the, we have a lot of faith in, actually I tell you today, television becomes our guide. Public opinion becomes our guide. Have you seen? That is what society has become. Television and public opinion has become our guide. It's a Shastra should be the guide. And that Shastra as is interpreted by the Sampradaya. Tradition. The gurus and all, they will tell you, this is the meaning. This is what you are supposed to do. Because we don't follow, we get ourselves into bigger and bigger trouble every day. One trouble after the next. And society's troubles are not getting less. Society's troubles are getting. It is such a simple thing to figure out. If I am not following Shastra, see, if society's problem is getting more and more, not less and less, because the number of people in jails are not decreasing. The number of people in jails are increasing. The number of cases in the court, criminal cases in the court, they are not decreasing, they are increasing. The amount of disease in society, and the amount of people falling sick, and the amount of medicine that people are taking, they are increasing or decreasing? Increasing phenomenally. So how is society getting better or what? People are getting happier and happier in the world, or more and more miserable? If more sick people, more crime, more people in jail, more cases in the court, more medicine, how are you going people are getting happier? That means something we are doing wrong. Not something, some things we are doing wrong. And that is because people's relinquishing of the Shastras, really. People are guiding their life by public opinion and what we call statistics. And so one man, he moved to Savannah. Then he put on his television. He came from Florence. He put on television in Savannah. A first news item he saw. So first item on the television. All accidents take place within 1 mile of your home. He sold his all and went back to Florence. Some silly statistic he misunderstood and make him. Statistics can do all sorts of crazy things, Look here, in the old days in Midwest, there were a community of woodcutters, right? Woodcutters. So they decided we're going to deep forest. 100 men from that community. We're going to the deep forest and we'll cut wood there. We stay one whole year and we make a whole clearing and form a new village and all that, right? So they went there. They took 2 women from that community to cook food for them. 100 men went, took 2 women to cook food. During that 1 year, 2 of those men got married to those 2 women. In that 1 year, in the deep jungle. Then when they came back, then the community newspaper had a bulletin, a headline. 2% of the men married 100% of the women. No, look, this thing is true also, But how does it look? So statistics are so our life should not be guided by statistics, by media, by headline, by community, what the community thinks, opinion, by television, by trendy things which are going on. See, today's life is all determined by trendy things. Our life should be guided by Shastras. Bhagavan is saying that your Shastra within Utsrija. You want to cast out the Shastra from his life. That person or that community or that society or that civilization will never achieve anything. So you could see, are we achieving anything in this world? Or we are going down and down? Because all achievement actually is really, we want to achieve happiness, peace. And if the society is not getting more happiness, more peace, they are getting worse and worse, then something is really bad. So Shastra Rakshanam word comes there. The protection of the Shastra means the following of the Shastra. It's a very important thing. The Rishis have given the principles by which to live, and they have no selfish interest in that. That is only our interest at heart. If we follow, Rishi will get anything or what? He will not get anything. Rishis never had any selfish interest in anything. That's why they lived in little huts or no hut at all. On the banks of the Ganga, some mountain cave or something. No self, he doesn't want any following also. You come and tell the Rishi, please teach me. He said, okay, sit. We teach. After he teaches, okay, now you are finished learning, get out. He doesn't want any following also. But today, religious people, to get a big following, they'll do anything. The rishis were not like that. The rishis were totally selfless. So whatever they gave also is for our benefit, not for their benefit. They don't want anything from that. See? So yes, if you want peace and happiness in your society, you follow the Shastra Rakshanam, Shastra Pramanam Te. That is in Gita. Let the Shastra be your authority and guide. Authority and guide is not the president. Authority and guide is not the politician. Today we have made the politician and we have made the House of Representatives and the Lok Sabha and this and that. We have made them the Sanctum Sanctorium. We have replaced God with yes, those kind of things. Public opinion. We have replaced Shastra with public opinion. If we don't follow the Shastras, what happens? He says in the next Sutra. Anyatha Patitya Shankaya. You know, he said this is a very nice thing. Anybody who doesn't follow the Shastras, Anyatha, or else, means if you don't follow the Shastras, you don't protect Shastras, you don't live the Shastras, what will happen? He says, Paditya Shankaya. Paditya Shankaya means there will always be fear in that person, there will always be fear in that society, there will always be, and you have seen that this society lives on the edge of a cliff. The fear is so intense. Only one person makes one stupid statement and the whole stock market from China to New York to everywhere crashes. All based on fear. This is all fear. I'm afraid all my investment will. And so some person makes one stupid remark and all the crash of stock market. Because you're not following Shastras, you're following all the flimsy, weak things that society feeds to you. Society feeds fear, breeds fear, imparts fear. And Shastra says, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi and all. Shastra is telling to give up this fear. And then what? If the stock market crashes and all your money goes away, so what is that? You were living the last 15 years without money in any case. It was there in the stock market and you were living well, isn't it? What is there to fear? This is Shastra will teach that type of strength, that type of detachment, that type of non-leaning. You see? So if you follow the Shastra, the stock market crash or doesn't crash, what is there? But if we are not following Shastra and we are following society, so social opinion and all that kind of thing, then when that thing crashes, your friend calls you, you're there in Miami Beach having a great time. And your friend knows that you're on the beach, you will not find out when the market has crashed. So he calls you and he tells you there, oh, did you hear what happened? The market in China lost to so many points, 500 points in one crash. And so did TSE also, and so did New York Stock Exchange. When you hear that, what happened to your vacation in Miami Beach now?
So many now they have all iPhones. So he's on the beach and he's watching
there also.
Wall Street.
He's living on the phone.
Yeah.
So when he crashes there, he goes and drowns himself in that beach. Amazing thing. So when we leave Shastra, this is what happens. And so there's always fear. There's a path, there's always fear of fall, fear of loss, fear of destruction, fear of so many things. And if you are following Shastra, Shastra will tell what fear you are supposed to have. No fear. See, this body, if it drops, I'll get a new one. This is what Shastra is teaching. Otherwise, we are always afraid. I will lose this body, I will lose this, lose that, lose so many things. But the one who is following Shastra, then all these fears will go away. So a true devotee is one who follows the Shastra. That is a very, very important thing. Otherwise, then there are some sampradayas of devotion, bhakti traditions, where when they develop love for God, it is as though people go crazy. They become unconscious of their body, they become unconscious of what they wear, they become unconscious of social rules and food and this and that. So if a person has really gone madly in love with, like for example, Vishika Pyala Ranaji Bheja. They sent a cup of poison to Mira. They gave poison to Socrates also. Poison we have heard many times. So they sent a cup of poison to Mira. Mira is drunk, intoxicated with the love of Krishna, the Lord. And Pivata Mira Hasire. She drank smilingly. And nothing happened also. She drank. Now people say, Swamiji, that is okay for Mira, but I am not right. That is okay for Mira, but I am not that caliber of bhakta, devotee of God, so that I can drink the poison also and still survive, like Lord Shiva. No. So, those who are on the path of bhakti, along the path, trying to develop love for God and we still have body awareness and we have not become that caliber of devotee, this other sutra is given for such people. And it says, Lokopi Davadeva Kintu Bhojanadi Vyaparaha Tu Asharira Dharanavati. This is Sanskrit words. There are several words in there. So, for an ordinary devotee like us who is going along, I may be expressing my devotion to God, but certainly don't start acting mad. That's what he means. Don't start acting like a mad person. Otherwise, devotion can make people do crazy things, And Gyan also, you have to be careful. In Gyan mind, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. My nature is I am of the nature of pure bliss, consciousness, awareness. So you go to work tomorrow and you're supposed to be entering data on the computer. You sit there, Aham Brahmasmi, and the boss asks, what happened to you? But I'm one with this computer, there's no need for me to do anything. I'm Brahman, this computer is Brahman. Yes, Sarva Brahma hai. Brahma, Param, Brahma, Vihi, Brahmatma, Brahmana, everything is Brahman. So I'm one, the computer is one, the data also is one. You are also one with me, I have nothing to do. Then why you went there? Should not have gone also. Don't start acting crazy thing like. So in this sutra is telling bhakta also. So bhojanadi vyaparaha, all such things. Every day we are supposed to eat food also. Don't start saying, so I become a devotee of God, so I will not eat from today. We eat and do our things in a normal way. And all my transactions and everything, I do it, Otherwise, one lady, she went to some satsang like this, and that Mahatma was telling, this body is Pinda, and this whole universe is Brahmanda. So, Yatha Pinda, Tatha Brahmanda. He was giving a little lot this as is this body, so is this whole universe. And and in this body itself, in this spine, there are 3 nadis. One going down, one going up, and one in the middle. Three nadis are the nerve, and those three nadis are Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. So when you go home, you must sit down and meditate on Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Three rivers. She went home now. If she had gone to that satsang, she has to come home and cook for the children and everybody who were there, But she came home and she went straight to that puja room and then she sat there. Then her husband said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I am meditating on Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati." Now see, it means to say whatever spiritual practices that should not take us away from our duties and we start acting crazy. She's meditating on Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Her husband went in the kitchen. He put some rice, some dal, some haldi, salt, this, that, and he made khichdi and he gave to all those children. Right? Because they were hungry. When all of them were finished eating, he took the whole container of salt and he dumped it inside of the remaining khichdi. And after 45 minutes, 1 hour, she came out from that puja room. And she was hungry because she had gone satsang and she came home, then went there, and she had not eaten anything. Then quickly she went to the kitchen and she saw khichdi there. So she took a spoon and took one big gulp of khichdi. And then realized, this thing is full of salt. Quick, quick. She told her husband, "Give me some water." He said, "What? Why you want water? You have Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati now." All three rivers you have there, and you want water? So this sutra is telling, look, even as a spiritual aspirant, a bhakta or whatever, you just remain normal. I can't say act normal. You can't act normal. Just be normal. If you're acting, that means not normal. Be normal. So you're telling, see, with regard to now, lokopi tavadeva kintu, as you were there in the world before, whatever you were doing before, you continue to do that, worldly duties and all social things that you have, right? See, bhojanadi, food, etc. that you were doing, suddenly you will say, no, I'm going to only live on water from today. Not going to eat any food. You will die. Don't you suddenly pretend to be some great bhakta, no. Bhojanadi, vyapar, to our sharir, as long as the body is there, act and live normal. Okay. That a devotee is like that. Any other thing that you see in the world, that is only pretense of, and people start acting crazy. It's only pretense. The true devotee is supposed to be just quite normal and all. Okay. Then 15 and 16. Let us see. Where is it? 15 is missing. Huh? Page what?
28.
Yeah, the sutra is missing, only translation is given. So sutra is Tal-lakshanani Vachyante Nana mata bhedat So Tal-lakshanani means the definition of Vachyante. Tal-lakshanani Vachyante. There are many definitions of bhakti. Tal means bhakti. Tal. That bhakti which we are talking about, there are many definitions of that bhakti. This is the meaning of this sutra. That bhakti is defined variously by various people. That is the meaning of this sutra. Right? So now what he is going to do, Nana mata bheda, based on their different sampradaya. Based on sampradaya. Like for example, sugar. Sugar can be described variously by different people, isn't it? Something which is indescribable. How you will describe? Each person will say in his own in his own way, isn't it? So this devotion and this love, supreme love for God, this will be defined differently by different people. So what he does here now, he quotes several people and how they define Bhakti. So now let us see this, how Bhakti is defined. First one is Parasharya. Parasharya means Ved Vyasji himself. How Ved Vyasji defines Bhakti? Pujadishu Anuragaha Iti Parasharyaha Iti Parasharyaha means Parasharya says thus. What he says? He says Bhakti is Pujadishu Anuragaha. Ved Vyasji is saying, well, really what it is the practice of Bhakti. Really. The practice of Bhakti means, according to Ved Vyasji, is deep love for puja, means worship, etc. Because etc. is given name, Pujadishu, worship, etc. So in this type of thing there is the main things I tell you. One is Nam Smaran. Nam Smaran means chanting of the name. Tulsidaji says in this Kali Yuga, the name is the most powerful thing. In Bhagavad Purana also it is not Bhagavad Purana. It is called Brihad Naradiya. He says, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalau Nastyeva Gatiranyatha. In this Kali Yuga, there is no greater thing than chanting the name of God. So this is one form of worship. So because puja adi, and then one form of worship of God is puja. Worship means it's puja. You go on doing all the offerings, right? Then another form of worship, and this is a very powerful one now, seva. Doing some seva. Like you see how people came here this evening and spread all of these sheets, put microphone, brought this harmonium. So I just have to walk in, set up the altar. This is called seva. People are doing. I was telling yesterday, nobody paid for those such things. It's all seva. So this is another form of worship. So all these different practices of worship. So these are the three main: seva, Nam Smaran, and puja. Different types of worship. So I'm doing that seva for the Lord. That's my form, my way of worshipping. And then you have heard before, work is worship. You have heard that. Our work, our duty, performing our duty, that itself is worship. So Ved Vyasji said this practice of this bhakti is really worship of Bhagavan in all the various ways. That I call Ved Vyasji's definition of bhakti. Then, who is the next person? Garga Rishi. How he defines bhakti? See this is Sutra number 17. Kathadishu Iti Gargaha Garga says practice of bhakti is listening to all the glories of Bhagavan, all his kathas, stories. So the one just now puja and all of this and chanting of his name, that was speech. Here this is hearing. Shravana. That is the expression of bhakti, devotion. To listen, I want to listen to all the kathas of Bhagavan. I desire to listen to the stories of and glories of God. So Garga Rishi said, this is bhakti. That is another expression, another form of bhakti, just listening to all his glories. Otherwise, a human being, he only likes to listen to his own glory. Yes, I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe how much we like to hear about. If our name comes in the newspaper, we love this too much. We like to hear our own glory. If anybody says anything good about us, then we ask, who said? Tell, what they said? What did they say? We like to hear that thing. So here, one form of devotion is listening to the glories of God, Garga Rishi. Then Shandilya. See next number 18. Atmarati Atmarati Avirodheneti Shandilyaha. So he says, Shandilya Muni now is saying that devotion for God, which is not opposed to attachment to the inner self, is true devotion. It means to say, any form of worship which will not take away from our reveling in God. Any form of worship. This is, for example, look here. I have gone to one place, right? See, this is a true thing. Some people, when bhajans start, they start getting some shakti. Have you seen that? Huh? So one person that bhajan started, and everything was going on there, and that person got the shakti. Then that kathakar who was there, he called, and he told some mantra in that air, and then that shakti and shaking and everything stopped. And that person went and sat. Then at the end, everybody was very curious, what is that mantra? Please tell me. Because that mantra is make that shakti cease immediately. The Kathakar said, I told, if you don't sit down here, if you don't sit down immediately, I'll put you out from this hall. All Shakti vanished. It means to say that there are many types of expressions of worship and devotion, and there's so many different types of expression by different people. That thing really takes them away from spirituality. It takes them away from their true self, really. Because that just becomes a charade, a show, some sort of, parade, facade, all sorts of things like that. So any such practice that really takes us away from our self, Chandelier says we should drop that. Really, Bhakti is reveling in yourself. Chandelier Muni gives like that. Bhakti is reveling in our own self. It is a very nice thing actually, which he tells. Then, all of them says this and says that and said the other thing. See what Narada says now. But Narada says, now according to my opinion, this is what Bhakti is. What is the Bhakti? Naradahatu. That Naradas, you're seeing there, Sa? That Sa is Visarga in Sanskrit. So Naradaha, tu. But in Sanskrit, when that Visarga falls before any soft, any hard consonant, it changes to Sa, like that. That's why it changed. So it's really Naradahatu, Tararpita, Tadarpita, Akhila, Acharata, Vismarane, Tadvismarane, Paramavyakulata, Iti. Okay, says Narada, but Narada says no. He's giving his opinion on what? Bhakti. He says, Tat Arpita Akhila Acharata. Whatever you are doing in this world, dedicate it to God. Surrender it to God. Whatever you are doing, I'm doing this for God. And Tat Vismarane Paramavyakulata Iti. Just real devotion is when we are separated from God, to be totally distressed, to be totally miserable. If I forget God even for one moment, I get great pain, great sorrow in my heart. So that is true devotion. That, the whole day we are remembering this, remembering that, and we don't remember God, isn't it? We don't remember the one who is carrying us also. with bearing our weight, we don't remember. So he said that thing should bring great sorrow to us. That is how you know that you are a true devotee. When one moment you forget God and you get great distress, great sorrow. But we haven't gone there yet, isn't it? We are still in what the other definitions were given before. Do the puja, do the japa, do the seva, do you know all that kind of thing. We are still at that level. But true devotion is when we are separated from God to be so miserable. When the gopis were looking for Bhagavan and they cannot see him. Oh, miserable, walking everywhere looking for that Lord. One moment of separation. One moment of separation is, like when that cow loses its calf. When that cow, or the calf loses the mother. What distress. But we have no distress. We lost God, we are happy. Isn't it? See? So we still have a long way to go. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. We'll continue from here. Alright.
Pass out the envelopes today for Guru Dakshina tomorrow. And it is a tradition that Swamiji is completing